Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. This is a list of all the side Easter eggs in Forsaken. If you go through the list and still think I've missed something, then let me know in a comment and I can always make a follow-up video. Anyway, onto the side quests. The first side Easter egg we'll be covering is the pistol sharpshooter Easter egg. For this, you will need a pistol in order to activate it and complete it, and a warning for this is that I think this can only be attempted once per game, so if you fail this, you're basically done. I'm not aware of a way to reset this, although if you guys know of a way, you can let me know in the comments down below. When you're ready to start it, come over to this flower planter in front of the American Records and Tapes building and pick up the document that you can find lying on the dirt. Then run forwards to the building and you'll see a load of targets appearing inside. You need to shoot every single target with your pistol, and I believe there will be around 18 to 20 targets in a row total. I'm going to let the clip play in its entirety here just because I want you guys to be able to see all of the targets that I got in my game, so you have a good reference to compare to and to make sure that you guys don't miss any targets. The recommendation I'd give you is to be careful of the target that appears near the back where that kind of skull poster is. It can be a little difficult to see it back there, and also make sure you get the ones that are on the upper level on the kind of balcony too. And when you've successfully completed this, i.e. when you've shot every single one of the targets, your weapon will automatically upgrade its rarity, and that's your reward. Congratulations, side quest complete. The next quest we'll be taking a look at is another sharpshooter egg, except this time it's with a sniper. The same kinds of rules apply, except this time there are going to be around 15 targets, I believe. And if you don't have a sniper, just a quick pro tip here is you can buy a sniper, specifically a Pellington, just to the left of the PhD flopper machine. Sorry, PhD slider now. You are going to want to make sure that your sniper has a scope on it as well, so if you need to apply a blueprint to change your attachments or go to an armor station to re-roll, now's the time to do that. Also, Ring of Fire will actually make this easier, which might sound crazy, but it's because it will prevent you from having to reload if you've got your Ring of Fire skill tiers upgraded. And this wasn't an issue with the pistol, but because sniper reloads are pretty damn slow, it just stands to get in the way a little bit more often, and it's not worth the risk. Another quick tip for this actually is to pack a punch your sniper too, because obviously that'll mean that you have more ammo that you can shoot before having to reload. So your document is going to be located on the rooftop of the video store on top of this metal vent, and I highly recommend you watch this through once before you even activate yours, because these targets are really damn hard to hit. They're going to start by the bar and grill sign, and essentially they're going to slowly move from left to right, so you're going to end up shooting towards the observation tower, and your last target actually will be on the zip line. There are a few of them that pop out at really weird angles and move in kind of unexpected directions as well, so take your time when you're about to take a shot, like just make sure that you're on target. And like I said, if you do get flustered, Ring of Fire will mean that you don't have to reload at all, and that will just make your life a bit easier. While this is playing, let's talk reward. It's basically the same as the pistol sharpshooter. That upgraded your pistol rarity. This is going to upgrade your sniper rarity. You do not get an ether tool like you did in Mauer der Toten, unfortunately. I guess Treyarch thought that it would be too easy to abuse, but still, it's pretty cool, and once you get your rarity upgrade, that's Easter egg complete. Now, I think there may be some other sharpshooters around the map, but the community just hasn't found them yet, even though they've been looking really hard. And if that's the case, I will link them in the description down below so you know where they start and you can still do them in your games. Next, let's talk about the arcade, because there's quite a bit of Easter eggy stuff we can do with it. For one, a teeny tiny Easter egg you can do is knifing the arcade token machine, and if you do that, you'll get a free arcade token, which has a market value of 10k, so that's pretty good. There are 3 main arcade machines that are available in standard play. First up, we'll talk about Enduro. This one is a little RCXD game where you basically have to collect points or essence canisters that are littered around this little level, and this is really fiddly and hard to control, but I promise you, you'll be able to get a bunch of points, like 5k, if you go really slowly. Just take your time. Don't rush. It's not actually that bad once you do it a couple of times. And if you get good at it, you can get pretty much all the points in the room, like nearly all the points every time. So this one I thought was terrible at first, but now I think is actually decent. Next up, we've got the World War Machine, which takes you into Nacht der Untoten's spawn area. Here, you basically have to take out all the zombies in the time limit, and then you'll get a rewards crate. Then take out wave 2 of zombies, you'll get another rewards crate. And then finally, wave 3 of zombies. And when you take all of them down, you'll get one final large crate that can give you things like salvage, loads of points, maybe some drops, weapons can be in there. It's a good kind of like middle ground for just a decent selection of all possible rewards. And then we have the Der Eisendrache machine, which is just a dragon soul box. You just have to fill up the dragon by getting kills inside the Ring of Fire. If you get enough kills in a short enough time span, the dragon will be nice and happy, and it will blast off into the sky, revealing a large crate or a golden crate underneath. And the golden crate is hella good because you can get perks from that. You can get legendary and wonder weapons. You'll also get loads of salvage. Like, it's a really, really good reward. So Der Eisen Crimson is at the top of my hierarchy. I'd say World at War's in the middle, and Enduro is probably at the bottom, but none of them are bad. Next, we have the RCXD Grand Prix side quest. This one is absolutely amazing, one of my favorite side Easter eggs in the map, and it requires PhD, which you can buy in the Pack-a-Punch room, also known as the Observation Tower. To start with, head to the bar second floor, which is opposite Burger Town, and look for this arcade cabinet. You need to use PhD to slide into the zombie in close proximity to the machine, and if you're close enough, you'll see the zombie's soul will fly into it and the machine will turn on. Now, you don't have to be right next to the machine. As you can see in the gameplay here, I slid from a little further away and it was fine. When the machine is on, you can use an arcade token on it, and if multiple people are in the game, then they can also use their arcade token too. You can start the race when everyone is ready, and then you're off to the races, no pun intended. You've got to do 3 laps around the track, and there is a timer on screen at all times, and the reward that you get is based on how fast you complete it. So as you can see in my game here, if the time goes over 1 minute 40 to do 3 laps, then it'll drop from a legendary reward to an epic one. Epic will turn to rare at 2 minutes 10, etc. Now, I believe the main difference between these rewards is basically the number of points that you get for completing the race. So the rare reward, for example, is 3,000 points, the epic reward is 4,000 points, and I believe legendary is 5,000 points. So the fact that this is essentially free to do, assuming you just get an arcade token from killing zombies, it's a really good reward for something that's already really fun anyway, so this Easter egg wins on kind of both fronts. Now, I do have a little pro tip for you here if you're struggling to get good completion times or your friends just keep beating you, and that's to look out for shortcuts at all times in the course. So the main one that I've found involves you jumping from the bar here and landing on this platform, allowing you to jump over this big line of zombies instead of what you would normally have to do, which is jumping down from the bar and then going all the way round the line of zombies and then continuing on your way. Shortcuts are the name of the game. Try and find some good ones and let me know if you do in the comments down below. The next Easter egg is a way to get free drops across the map. There's a lot of different free drops that you can get by doing this Easter egg. Like the RC car side quest, you are going to need PhD in order to get this started, so grab that from the observation tower near the Pack-a-Punch, and once you've got it, head to the bar rooftop, or the rooftop of Burger Town. You need to slide off the rooftop and down towards this manhole cover on the street below you. Because you have PhD, you will trigger an explosion when you land from a height, and this will cause a drop to pop up out of the manhole if you're near enough to it when you land. You can get max ammos from this, fire sales, all kinds of different things, and it's also related to another Easter egg that we'll be talking about in a second, so if you get a bunny, hold on to that. But for now, let's just keep running through these locations so you can keep getting these free drops. The next possible spot is in the Anytown West alleyway. It's just to the left of the arcade, and you can mantle onto this thing and jump off that in order to trigger your explosion, or drop down onto it from the arcade roof just next to the teleporter. Either way, so long as PhD go boom, you can get a drop from this. And the last spot is in front of the cinema, and this one is really tricky to do, to be honest. You're going to be slide jumping towards it from the Anytown rooftop, but you kind of need to jump off the railing and sandbags. It's the bit that's next to the speed cola machine. Be careful though, because if you mantle the railing, you'll just fall off the ledge. You'll just flip over to the other side. Whereas if you mantle the sandbags, it'll keep you on the roof without auto-mantling over the top. So climb on the sandbags, walk backwards a little bit onto the railing to get more space, and then do your jump. And an alternative way to do this is to get a running start on the rooftop and then slide on the sandbags to get that kind of momentum, but this is a bit less consistent. Those are the 3 spots to get the free drops from, and now we're going to kind of convert that into talking about the Bubby Easter egg, also known as the music Easter egg, I suppose, but then also known as the Bunny Easter egg. It's confusing, but it's the Easter egg involving Bunny and the Bubby and the music. Use PhD to hit the 3 jumps that I just described in the free drops section, and from one of the 3, you'll get a bunny that you can pick up. Now, before you do anything with the bunny, you're going to want to make sure that you've got good gear, such as a pack-a-punched gun, a couple of perks, maybe a monkey bomb for if things get sketchy. Essentially, just as if you were setting up for a lockdown, because you're setting up for a lockdown. When you're ready, take the bunny to the back of Bubby and place the bunny inside, and from there, you'll have to defend Bubby for like 2.5 minutes. It's quite long, and if he takes too much damage, you will fail this lockdown, so be very careful of that. Special zombies, including panzers, which is pretty freaky, will spawn in during this, and it does get pretty intense as a result. But there is something working in your favor, and that's that Bubby will drop burgers for you to eat, and if you do eat one, you'll go up to 250 health, so they're great to grab if you need to regen quickly. If you successfully complete the lockdown, Bubby will drop you a crate, and it will reward you with a random perk, sometimes a weapon. You can get the Chrysalax from this, which is pretty crazy, and he'll also drop the music Easter egg track, also known as Samantha's Ballad, and this might seem like a kind of familiar system, and that's because it is. It's very similar to the radio music Easter egg thing in Outbreak that you can do. And with your rewards picked up, that will be the end of the Bubby Easter egg. Congrats. The next side quest involves delivering pizzas for Ronald Ray Gun. No, not that Ronald. Yeah, the other one. Ronald Ray Gun. It's a free Ray Gun Easter egg, but it can also give you a bunch of other rewards, so you may get salvage from this or something when you do it in your game. You can also get points, you can get drops, you can get max ammos, all sorts of stuff. And this one's kind of unique in that you don't actually need to turn Pack-a-Punch on in order to do this. You can actually start it pretty much right at the beginning of your game, as long as you have an Ether Shroud charge. So if you don't have Ether Shroud on as your field upgrade, switch over to it in your loadout. And you will also need to make sure that you have the teleport ability on your Ether Shroud. And if you don't have that, you need to level it up in its skill tiers in the menus. Once you have an Ether Shroud charge, come over to this door inside the pizza place and activate your Ether Shroud to teleport through the door. Inside, you'll see Ronald Ray Gun boogieing away, and next to him will be a stack of pizza boxes. Grab a pizza box and a timer will begin. You need to run up the stairs here, run across, and take the teleporter. In this next area, there are 4 locations where you can deliver pizza to. You can do this in any order, by the way. You don't have to do a certain one first. I'm going to show you all 4 locations now, but obviously you have to deliver one pizza at a time. You can't deliver the same pizza to 4 people. So the 4 places you're delivering to are as follows. One is underneath, so drop down when you come out of the teleporter and then do a 180, come into the room here, and the pizza box will be on your right-hand side. Drop the pizza in there and your timer will end. The next pizza box is in the cinema. You're going to buy the door for it, and it's directly on the left-hand side next to the mannequins. The third pizza box can be found inside Burger Town. Run through to the back of the store, and you'll see 2 mannequins having some food, and the pizza box is between them. And the 4th spawn is in this building here. It's really near the entrance, and once again, there's 2 mannequins, and the pizza box is beside them on the table. Once you've delivered a pizza, return to the room with Ronald Ray Gun in it, and hold square on Ronald in order to claim your reward. He'll give you whatever he gives you, and you can then pick up another pizza box and go and deliver that to a different pizza location to the first one you did, and then run back to Ronald, claim a reward, and you can then do this again. You can only deliver 4 pizzas total because there's only 4 places to deliver them to. And like I said, there's a big pool of different rewards that you can get from this. You can get armor vests from it as well, which is quite useful early game. Drops, ray guns, all sorts of stuff. And that is the Ronald Ray Gun Easter egg. The next side quest is building the Chrysalax, and this one's something you're probably going to want to learn off by heart because it's useful for the main quest Easter egg. The Chrysalax is absolutely awesome. It's pretty straightforward. It doesn't take long to do. It's just a good Easter egg to know. So, building the Chrysalax. For this, I'm going to make a suggestion which is not essential by any means, but it will make your life a teeny tiny bit easier later on. So the suggestion is to spawn in with a melee weapon as your loadout weapon. Just because towards the end we're going to be getting melee kills, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have one. Another thing that could alternatively make this easier is to make sure that you've upgraded your melee weapons in your skill tiers. There are some really good upgrades in there, and they will make this a lot easier if you do this Wonder Weapon guide in the first, let's say, 13-ish rounds of your game. So they're definitely worth spending some crystals on, in my opinion. Also, so you're aware, this process can only be started once you've already got to the Pack-a-Punch and lifted the lockdown by pressing that big red button in the middle of the room. So do that first before you try to proceed. So once you've turned on Pack-a-Punch, you're going to want to go to this second red button in the same room that you were just in and hit that to trigger an Easter egg cutscene. Once you get out of that cutscene, you're going to want to go forwards 2 rounds. So essentially you need to end the round you're on and then do all of the next round, and then the round after that is the one you want to get to. Once you've made it there, come to Jim's Donut Shop, which is nearby to the Juggernog machine. It's in that first area you teleport to when you initially get out of the spawn. Instead of grabbing a tasty snack from Jim, we're going to be looking for an orange crystal behind his counter. And you'll notice that if you go up to that crystal and start tinkering with it, maybe you hold square, you shoot it a little bit, and just sort of sit on top of it like a chicken hibernating an egg, you'll find that lots of special zombies are going to spawn in. So things like mimics are going to be all over the place, plague hounds, stuff like that. You need to take out all those special zombies, and once you do that, you'll probably get another 1 or 2 special waves, so long as you're still sitting on the crystal and kind of in that zone. When you've taken out all the special waves, though, you'll end up being able to pick up the crystal, and it will be the first of 3 that we need in this Easter egg in order to build the Chrysalax. The second crystal can be acquired from a Tormentor zombie, and there seems to be a sort of specific method that the community has settled on to do this most consistently, and it's using a flamethrower. So you can build flamethrowers from crafting benches around the map. It's just going to be a support streak, essentially. essentially. And when you buy one, you're going to wait for a tormentor to spawn in and then burn it to death. The reason for this is that fire is going to interact with the tormentor in a special way, and out will pop another crystal. And now that's 2 out of 3. For the third crystal, you're going to need an abomination. That's the thing that looks a little bit like a magua crossed with a chicken. They spawn in every 4 to 5 rounds, and you can also forcibly spawn them in by doing the big purple crystal steps in the main quest Easter egg. But to keep things simple in this video, just wait for an abomination to spawn and then bring it over to one of the purple ether crystals that will have popped up around the map. Not the really massive ones, but the smaller ones that are in like every single location pretty much. Normally you can destroy those and get like 100 points or maybe a little bit of salvage, and they respawn each round. But for this, we're not going to destroy it. We're actually going to let the abomination shoot it with its kind of electric lasers. When that happens, it will destroy it, and in its place will be your third and final crystal that you can pick up. Now is the moment of truth, and now is also the reason why I mentioned melee weapons at the start of the video. You're going to want to come to this area of the particle accelerator and find a liquid container to place the crystals inside. When you do so, a mixing process will occur, and you will need to get 10 melee kills near the crystals to charge them up. If you don't have a melee weapon at this point in the game, don't worry, you can get them out of the box, remember? And if you do pull one from the box, it's pretty likely to do good damage because all the melee weapons in the box are kind of cracked. So that's one option. Another option is just to do this while you have insta-kill. That's obviously going to make your life a lot easier, and you won't need to worry about what kind of melee weapon you have. Or you can just continuously knife the zombies until they die, and hopefully you're on a low round and it's not actually that bad. Whatever you choose to do, once you've got your 10 melee kills, you'll have finished building the Chrysalax and you'll be able to just pick it right up. Another tip for this actually is I think you can use tomahawks to get the melee kills, which makes this infinitely easier, and you don't need to worry about any kind of melee weapon silliness. So give that a try if you're struggling. So with all those covered, that brings us to the end of the video. If there are any side quests that you think I've missed that you would appreciate a video on, then let me know in the comments section and I can make follow-up videos covering those too. I've tried to include like the main important ones in here though, so you should have your bases covered. Thanks for watching, drop a like if you found this useful, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.